There is someone in your life who is absolutely certain they are right. They don't double-check their work. They don't ask for second opinions. They walk into every room like the answer is already obvious. And the disturbing part is this: the less they actually know, the more confident they feel. This is not a personality flaw. It is a documented feature of the human brain, and you are not immune to it. In 1999, two psychologists at Cornell University ran a series of experiments that would change how scientists think about human intelligence forever. Their names were David Dunning and Justin Kruger. They gave a group of undergraduate students a test on logical reasoning. Then they asked each student to estimate how well they had performed compared to everyone else. The results were uncomfortable. The students who scored in the bottom quarter didn't just perform poorly. They believed they had done better than most of the room. Not slightly better, significantly better. They were so unaware of their own incompetence that they had no tool to measure it. Dunning described it this way: the skills you need to produce a correct answer are the exact same skills you need to recognize that your answer is wrong. If those skills are missing, both abilities vanish at the same time. You don't just fail the test, you fail to notice that you failed. But here's the part of the story that almost nobody talks about, because everyone focuses on the bottom of the curve, the people who know nothing but feel like experts, and they use it to feel superior. But Dunning and Kruger found something else sitting quietly in their data. The students who scored highest on the test did something completely different. They underestimated themselves. The most competent people in the room assumed everyone else was roughly as capable as they were. They couldn't imagine that the gap between them and others was as large as it actually was. Real expertise doesn't feel like confidence. It feels like uncertainty. The more you genuinely know about something, the more clearly you can see everything you still don't understand. The ocean of what you don't know gets bigger the further you swim into it. There's a name for this second part of the curve. Some researchers call it the Valley of Despair. You learn enough to realize how little you know, and for a while it feels worse than knowing nothing at all. A beginner guitarist thinks they sound great after 2 weeks. A guitarist with 2 years of practice hears every mistake they make in real time. The beginner is happier. The expert is better. And the expert knows they are not good enough yet. This is why genuine experts so rarely sound certain. It is why the most dangerous voice in any room is usually the loudest one. And it is why confidence on its own tells you almost nothing about whether someone actually knows what they're talking about. Now, here's where this becomes personal, because this effect does not just apply to other people. It applies to every domain where you are still a beginner, and you are a beginner in far more domains than you think. Your finances, your relationships, your health decisions, your understanding of how the world actually works. In every area where your knowledge is shallow, your brain fills the gap with confidence you have not earned yet. Not because you are foolish, because that is what brains do. Confidence is comfortable, uncertainty is painful, and your brain will always choose comfort over accuracy when the stakes feel low enough. Dunning spent years after the original paper studying one specific question: what actually breaks the effect? What pulls someone out of the bottom of the curve and into genuine competence? The answer was not intelligence. It was not talent. It was exposure to accurate feedback delivered without ego protection. People who improved were the ones who found environments where being wrong had real consequences, where the gap between what they believed and what was true became impossible to ignore. A pilot who lands badly knows immediately. A surgeon whose patient deteriorates knows immediately. A writer whose readers stop reading knows immediately. The feedback is fast, clear, and impossible to rationalize away. In most of modern life, the feedback loop is broken. You can hold an incorrect belief for years and never encounter a single moment that forces you to test it. The Dunning-Kruger trap is not a problem of stupidity. It is a problem of insulation. There is one question that researchers found reliably separates people who escape the trap from people who stay inside it. Not how smart are you, not how much do you know, simply this: what would change your mind? If you can answer that question clearly, you are probably thinking. If the answer is nothing, you are probably not. For 300,000 years, humans survived by being certain enough to act and uncertain enough to adapt. The ones who were only certain died when the environment changed. The ones who were only uncertain never acted at all. The balance between those two things is the hardest thing a human mind ever has to find, and most of us are tilted too far in one direction without ever knowing it. The trap is not that you don't know enough. The trap is that you don't know that you don't know. And the first step out of it is the most uncomfortable one, admitting that the feeling of certainty and the fact of being right are two completely different things. They always have been.